how to properly cleanse. Yeah. So I'm going to show you how I was taught. Okay.
Let's go face this way. Are we on? Are we
Yeah.
live? Hi, everybody. Welcome to the People's Congregation of Shakers and Movers, where we are just constantly doing everything on the fly. But what we were just about to do, and I was like, why don't we just do it for the people, is Anna is going to
Cleanse. Cleanse us, cleanse our energy, cleanse the energetic space, the space around us. And I was going to show you the way that I was taught how to cleanse. So cleansing, you can do it with sage or you can do it with Palo Santo. Palo Santo, I have read, has a stronger clearing energy of negativity, and sage does do the job perfectly well as well. But I like Palo Santo, and this is what we have today. And I always keep sage or Palo Santo around. So I already saged myself. So I'm going to say Palo Santo, Sandy. And what I'm going to have you do is, with the gathering of the smoke, I'm going to have you bring it in this way. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So bring it towards you, towards your face, behind your head. And then I'm going to take it underneath our arms.
Be careful under there.
Underneath your feet. Underneath the feet is very important. If you've never thought of that, you're good. Just a quick. So this is what I always do to bring it under. So that's your entire energetic body. And it's just to cleanse the space and cleanse ourselves. We all carry energy. And I have just been, for example, in a public place, and there's lots of people there, and there's lots of energy. So I like to, before practice, cleanse completely, and it just brings a sense of calm. And it's not that you have to feel anything or anything like that. It's just brings on a calming feeling. That's what
It smells like church now, too, so it's very appropriate.
Yeah.
So Anna, we are, what are we here, second week of March. We're just coming off of this wild full moon ride. I'm not sure how you're feeling, but I would love to share with you how I'm feeling. I, by accident yesterday, ended up at a sculpting yoga class. It was supposed to be like our regular kind of hatha yoga, which is normally like kind of I think like a medium level power yoga class, but I never really like break a sweat because it's not hot in the room. Well, surprise, surprise, this yoga teacher had a background as like just an athletic trainer. So we actually used weights. We did some interval training. We got some cardio in there. We got our heart rate up. And I'm sore. Consequently, especially my triceps, because we did some weight work, which actually, it was a pleasant surprise. It was not easy. But it was different, and I think it was actually maybe what I needed. So today I have some sore triceps, and it's making me realize I should probably do more weight-bearing activities to complement my yoga practice. So I am very grateful for that experience, but I am a bit sore.
Yes, so you're probably, when was this?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. So you'll be more sore tomorrow. Great. But the yoga in between, the gentle yoga and the stretching in between will help and reduce the soreness for tomorrow. If you didn't do any of that, then for sure it would be a pow soreness tomorrow, but I think you're going to be good. So I think that the beauty of this practice is that once yoga came to the Western world, we created our own practices such as vinyasa and sculpting and all sorts of different kinds of yoga that steps away from the traditions, which is fine because everything that comes to the West is transformed in its own way. And I like to bring it back to its roots, and that's just my practice. But I love bringing in weight sometimes. You know, I teach chair yoga, and sometimes I sub a chair strength class. So, you know, you can do weights in the chair if you don't have weights or if it's too much. You know, you can use your own weight cans, or if you don't have, weights at home. So I think that lifting weights, especially as we get older, is really good because we do lose muscle mass and bone mass as we age. So it is appropriate for us to do weight-bearing exercises. So your body is telling you something, and you're listening, so it's good.
So, yes, and so once again, before we get started, I just want to remind everybody to please visit the pcsam.org website. We have just launched our March 31st fundraiser, which is going to be a sound bath upstairs here in a beautiful yoga space with Lori Fitzpatrick from Healing Vibrations with her husband Mike, and that's going to be just a really special night. If you've been wanting to come down and check out the chapel, it's going to be open to the public, and it's a fundraiser for the Bay Staters for Natural Medicine. Yay, Amherst, just decriminalized. All entheogens, like psilocybin especially, is very near and dear to my heart. So we are going to support organizations which are furthering the mission of destigmatizing plant medicine. That is a huge commitment for us. So please join us for the fundraiser if you can, and stay tuned for our online fundraiser in April.
Thank you. So Virgo, you've been
Yes.
going a little crazy.
I think it's been a good kind of crazy. I feel like it's a lot of momentum, and I've been having to, I was saying yesterday, choose between like the minutia of how I'm going to be like changing things, but also big picture. I'm really excited about the big picture, and a lot of things that I'm working for the last 4 or 5 years are really starting to come to fruition. So I'm just hanging on to the ride.
So mindfully, the full moon affects everybody differently, and some people, I think that it was interesting, the past week has felt like, there was some heaviness, and then come the 7th, for me, it was like a strange feeling of clarity, feeling lighter, feeling in momentum. I was productive, and that was a really cool feeling, because it's like, you don't really think about the shifts, but it's a true shift, and this shift is gonna take years for the reshift to happen. What is it?
Almost 3
20,
years.
30? No.
Oh, I was talking about a different thing. I was talking about, I think it's Saturn in Pisces or something.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of stuff going on, and I'm not.
We're not astrologers.
Yeah, no, we're not astrologers. But I do have some insight here, which I would love to share, because I love Kevin Courtney. If you've never heard of him, look him up. He's an amazing teacher, meditation teacher, philosophy teacher. I got to meet him and take his classes when the Yoga Love Fest was happening in the Cape a few years ago, and I really got a lot out of his classes, and I get a lot of insight also out of his newsletters. And I received it yesterday, and I wanted to share his insight. So it's the March full moon reflection. So it's a little bit of reading. Do you want to sit down so we can?
Sure, I can stretch out a little bit.
Get comfortable. So I'm always fixing my mat because I'm a little OCD that way. Okay, so full moon reflection. Little food for thought for the spirit. The moon is never not full. It's just light changing the shape of what we see. You are never not full. It's just shadow changing the shape of what you see. The nature of the self-study is two-sided. On the one hand, we need motivation and drive to engage and stay engaged as we go through the proverbial peaks and valleys of the awakening process. Breaking through emotional blocks, focusing our minds, and gaining a direct perception of our wholeness often requires a lot of work. On the other hand, the idea that we are somehow not inherently whole is itself a misperception. Sure, we might not feel whole, we might feel far from it, but because our experience of wholeness is overshadowed, doesn't mean it's not there. We're naturally confused to think that we need to look outside of ourselves or acquire things to feel the fulfillment of wholeness. It is coded in the DNA of our cultural matrix. Tantra flips the script entirely by suggesting that the drive we have to seek wholeness is our wholeness, pinging us from the inside out. It's been there all along. We just have to turn toward and recognize it. On this full moon, the invitation is to reflect on your relationship to your inherent wholeness. With a meditative awareness, consider how the notion that there is a future horizon line that will bring you wholeness might be the only thing separating you from the actual experience of wholeness. And if, in your present day reality, it will serve you best to take action, dive deep, and light a fire of transformation to discover it, by all means do that. But watch what shifts when you go into such an endeavor with the knowledge that you are, in fact, already whole. Happy full moon, and thank you, Kevin Courtney.
I love that.
Yeah, he's awesome. So I think that one of the things that I also get out of those words is that in our cultural matrix, we are often influenced by is that we are defragmented, even in the medical industry. You know, you have internal medicine, family medicine, and it really makes you feel very separate when all of those systems are whole in our entire body. And that's why I love yoga so much too, because this is a practice of wholeness. For me as a yoga therapist and practicing these modalities within the yoga scope is yoga means union. That's the union of the body, mind, and spirit. So it doesn't separate anything from us. Even in Ayurveda, the science sister to yoga, it doesn't separate the entire being. It keeps you whole. So your physical body may be experiencing something, but it's a ripple effect of how it affects everything else in the body, your nervous system, your physical body, and beyond, your emotions and such. So it's really important to remember that we are already whole, because it's been ingrained in us that we are not. And that's why we seek things outside of ourselves that we think are going to make us feel whole. Oh, when I get to that salary, I'm going to be like, that's going to be it. Everything's going to be good. Or, you know, when I get a car, when I get to this place, or, you know, that's going to complete everything. But that's all material. What is already whole is you inside you. You just have to look, seek, and do the deep dive. And the deep dive isn't easy, but it's beautiful.
And worth it.
And so worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So on that, let's sit in Sukhasana or happy easy pose, cross-legged. And let's begin to ground ourselves here in this space, breathing in the scent of Palo Santo. As you breathe it in, you feel the cleanse take up space in your body, in your physical body, in your spiritual body. And for folks back home, taking those full, deep cleansing breaths. And while you are here, taking in those breaths in and out the nose, relaxing the hands on the lap, I will say welcome, and welcome to Yoga with Anna, as we reset our bodies midweek. I am so grateful for you all to be here, and for Sandy to practice right next to me. It is an honor. And for those of you practicing at home or catching a replay or on our YouTube channel, taking the time whenever you can to come into stillness and movement of the body. We're never too far away. So let's take a moment here to set an intention for our practice this afternoon. You're welcome to bring your hands into Anjala Mudra at the heart center, or keep your hands where they are. And this is where I invite you to set an intention for your practice, as it is intention that drives our actions, and it is these intentions we carry through our practice and take with us into our daily lives. All taking a deep breath in together, and a slow exhale out. Swallowing at the back of our throats. Maybe moistening the lips as we seal the lips, fluttering our eyes open. Namaste, everyone. Namaste, Sandy, and welcome. All right, let's take a nice deep breath, palms over the head. And on the exhale, following the arms down. Inhale, let your arms rise again. And exhale, bring them down to heart. Inhale, let the palms rise again. And exhale, we're going to take a bow, bring the arms in front of you, palms flat, maybe walking the hands a little bit away from you. From here, take an inhale, lengthen through the crown, bring the chest forward, heart forward, and then maybe bending the elbows and coming down. Inhale, lift the chest, lengthen again. Exhale. Walk the hands towards your knees. Coming back to seated. And from here, let's take an inhale, going into a cow pose as we press the chest forward and take the gaze up. And on the exhale, going into a cat. Rounding the spine, tucking the chin. Inhale, lead with the heart, take the gaze up. Exhale, chin to chest, rounding the spine. Continue back and forth for a few more breaths. Syncing the movement with the breath. And then come back to center. All right, let's take that right hand to the left knee. Take that left hand behind you. Fingers point outward, palm close to your low back. Take an inhale as you lengthen through the spine, pressing through that back hand. And exhale, take a twist over to the left side gently. So not a full twist, just a gentle little twist here. Pulling the navel in. Breathing, and then on the exhale, coming back to center. And then let's take that left hand to the right knee. Right hand comes behind us to our low back, gently pressing into the mat. Take a nice deep breath, and exhale, take it over to the right side. Come back to center and release. Right. Bring the right ear to the right shoulder. Come to center, left ear to left shoulder. And come back to center. Again, take that right hand to the right knee. Take that left hand to the low back. This time, we're going to gently bring that right shoulder back and take the gaze over the right shoulder. So it's not a full twist, just a little stretch of the neck here. And then release. Come back to center, and we'll do that again. So we're in that twist position, but this time we're taking the twist. Well, it's not really a twist, just taking the gaze over to the left side to stretch the neck. And then come back to center. All right, from here, let's bring our legs back and come into a tabletop position. Roll over the knees, come to your tabletop. And from here, let's shift the hips back. And moving the hips now, shift them forward. And then come to your tabletop, and it's up to you whether you want to take a child's pose with the knees hip distance apart or make space for your torso and go into a wide-legged child pose. And take the hips back towards the heels. Let's extend the arms forward and take a bow. Grounding the third eye in, maybe gently giving it a massage. So really feel the palms reach and grip the mat and then pull the mat towards you. Then we're going to walk our hands over to the right side. Let that left hand rest over the right. And then bring the awareness to the left hip, ground that left hip, which means just pull that hip down to feel that stretch in the left side body. Take a nice deep breath in, and on the exhale, walk the hands back to center. Inhale, walk the hands to the left. Let that right hand rest on the left and take a bow here. Again, bringing the awareness to that right hip and seeing if you can reach that right hip towards the mat, getting a nice stretch in the right side body. And then gently walk back to center. Again, extending the hands and lowering. This time, let's tent the fingers and feel the wrists or the fingers reach forward and the hips shift back towards the heels. I don't know if you heard me there. Hips shift back, tenting the fingers, reaching forward, and taking that back. All right. Let's walk our hands back towards our knees. Knees come back to hip distance. And from here, let's extend that right leg out, lifting that leg up parallel to the floor, flex the foot, stretch that heel back, bend the knee, and then we're going to open laterally to the right side. From here, gently making circles with that knee. And then go the opposite direction. So gaze can be at the top of your mat. And then let's bring that knee back down. Extend the left leg back, flex the foot, bend the knee, open up the hip to the left side, and then take those circles to give that hip a little bit of movement. And then go opposite. Breathing. And then lowering the leg down. All right, from here, let's shift the hips back and shift the hips forward. Take a lean forward and then shift the hips back. All right, now we're going to get into some mindful movement. So my mindful movement invitation is to move your body intuitively. So that means softening the gaze or closing your eyes. And we're going to begin again by shifting forward and back. But then you can take the hips and begin to circle them around. And just take a moment here to quiet the mind so you can listen to your body. And by quieting the mind, come to your breath. Move with your breath. And just notice how your body wants to move. You can take a sweep up to stretch up. You can take the hips back. You can circle into a figure 8. So anything that feels good to you, it's your body. And at this moment, you are embodying your body. You can take a down dog if that feels good. Beautiful. All right, so let's come back to our tabletop and then come all the way down. Belly is on the mat. From here, we're going to take that right knee and bring it up to the side. Extend the arms forward. And then take that left cheek to the mat. So from here, if it feels good, you can reach that right arm back and take a hold of your foot to give your left quad a nice stretch. So if you want to bring your head back to center, you can. Or if not, you can take it a rest on the left cheek. Flex that right foot. And then see if you can press that foot into the hand and then release. Bring both arms back. Extend that right leg back and we're going to switch sides. So the left leg comes up parallel and flex the foot there. You can extend your arms forward and then but that left hand is going to come back to reach for that right foot. And you can press your foot into the hand for a little resistance. And then release. All right, so from here, bring both hands back, bring that knee back. And then we're going to do a little baby cobra. So bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Align your hands just underneath the shoulders, and you can test the alignment by bringing your shoulders down and just seeing the tips of your shoulders. Tuck the elbows close to the body and zip up the legs. On the inhale, press all 10 toes in, tuck the elbows, lift the chest. It's not about the height. Press the hips into the mat, and then gently float all the way down. Take a nice deep breath in, lift the chest. Press the hips, 10 toes into the mat. Exhale, lower down. And then one more time, inhale, lifting, wonderful for the lower back. And then gently coming back down. All right, let's curl the toes under, lift ourselves up, and come back to our tabletop. And then let's curl the toes under, and we're going to lift the hips up and come into a bear hover. Pull the navel in. And then we're going to lower down. So now I'm going to take you into dolphin. Just a little bit of arm strength here. Placing the hands like in Sphinx pose on our forearms. Our toes are curled under, and we're going to lift the hips up. So I used to have to do my down dogs this way when I got diagnosed with carpal tunnel after I had my son, because I couldn't put any pressure on my wrists.
And carrying him.
And I got baby thumb too.
Oh no.
So these were my down dogs.
I got baby nipple.
Jeez, what is that? Baby nipple.
I'll show you sometime.
Well, I get that privilege. All right, so from here, shift forward and then gently lift the hands. That's arm strength here. If you're going to be doing arm balances, this is really good. Shift back and then shift forward. Now, at any time, you can bring the knees down to support this posture if it's too intense. All right, from here, let's come back to table. Come to your down dog, lift the hips up. And then let's walk our dog.
That was just my yoga mat, everybody, I swear.
So walk in the dog, lifting one heel after the other. And breathing, taking those nice deep breaths in. And then come to center, gently press the chest, the heart towards the thighs. Press the index finger and the thumbs in and roll those inner elbows towards each other. And then let's walk our feet to meet our hands and come to a forward fold at the top of the mat. Inhale, hands on the shins, come to your half lift, and then let's root to rise. Come all the way back up. Palms touch and palms come to heart. All right. Come to the top of the mat. Let's bring the arms up parallel to our ears. And then let's bring our hands to our elbows. Take a nice deep breath in. Pull the navel in, lengthen through the crown. Again, your feet can be hip distance apart. I'm just used to having my feet together. But go ahead and bring them hip distance apart. And then we're going to take a lean over to the right side. Come back to center and take that lean over to the left side. Come back to center, release the arms, and gently float the arms down. That's intense, so roll the shoulders. Inhale, arms come up. Look up at the palms, let's reach back. And then exhale, swan dive down for your forward fold. Inhale, hands on the shins. Come to your half lift and exhale. Plant the palms. Bring both feet back and come into your plank or supported plank. Pull the navel in. And then let's lower the chest down. Take a sweep up, come into your up dog. And then roll over the toes. Come to your down dog. All right, from here, walk the hands back to the feet. Walk the feet to the hands, excuse me. Forward fold. Inhale, hands on the shins. And then this time, let's bow again. For your forward fold, bring the arms behind you for a bind. And then take a nice deep breath in as you gently bring your heart towards your thighs. Tuck the chin. Nice deep breath in and release. Hands come to the shins, come to your half lift, and root to rise. Come all the way back up. Palms touch. Palms come to heart. Palms together. Inhale. Over the head, reach back. Exhale, keep the palms together. Come all the way down for your forward fold. Inhale, hands on the shins. Come to your half lift and exhale, plant the palms. Take that right foot back. Plant the knee. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, cactus arms. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, let's open up to the left side. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, lower the arms. Take that left hand to the instep of the left foot, open up to the right side. Exhale, lower down. Let's bring that left hand back to the outside of the left foot. And from here, let's gently shift the hips back, come into a half split, and take some breathers here to work on that hamstring.
Here we go.
So I don't. Oh
It's my problem spot, Anna.
Oh, sorry. No, sorry, not sorry.
My hamstrings have always, when I was a kid, I could do a split, no problem, but trying to touch my toes was always much more of a challenge. So.
That's interesting.
I know.
So, if there is a challenge, you can also use blocks, but you probably don't need the blocks. But I just want to show you how you can lift the floor up in different ways for you to help you access your body in different ways. Do you want to try and see if that feels any different with blocks?
I think I'm extra tight from yesterday also. So.
Mm-hmm. And then if it feels good, if you want to get into that hamstring and just ease into it.
I think this is why yoga is so complementary to any other sport, right? Do this on your off days when you're not doing the intense training and running. And
Yes. So it's so interesting that you said that because I've been invited to do some research around mindfulness and sports. And so yoga seems to be, because it's so mindful and mindful movement, it's a complementary practice to not only ease your body, but really complement the mind and the pressures that sports bring on. All right, so let's shift forward.
breath work too.
Yes. Curl the toes under of that right foot. Lift that right knee up and then bring that back foot forward. Come to a forward fold. Inhale, hands on the shins, come to your flat back, and then root to rise. Come all the way back up. Palms touch and palms come to heart. We're going to do that again, palms together. Inhale, palms up over the head, reach back. Exhale, swan dive down, keeping the palms together, because it's not a swan dive. Just forward folding. Inhale, hands on the shins. Come to your flat back, and then plant the palms, take the left foot back. Left knee plants. Shift back, and shift forward. So I think that the mindfulness approach to sports is brilliant because people get really caught up, especially kids, with winning and losing. and can really, again, shift the focus on the outside of yourself. And knowing it's a competitive sport, but the focus goes to the outside of yourself in order to feel like, it just brings on a lot of pressure.
I'm witnessing it firsthand with my 8-year-old right now.
Yeah. So mindfulness is really important. Poor little me. All right.
So sensitive, my little one, yeah.
So let's come into a half split. Again, lift the chest to lengthen. If it feels too intense, just ease into it. And then let's bring the foot flat. Bring that right hand into the instep of the right foot and inhale that left arm up. Really anchor that right shin into the mat. And then lower down. Hand comes to the outside of the foot. Inhale both arms up. And we're going to open up to the right side. Inhale, let your arms raise again. Come back to center. Let's take a reach back here. Get some cactus arms in. And then let's reach up. And then on the end, as you inhale and exhale, bring the arms back down, bracket the foot. Let's lift that back knee up. Gently bring that back foot forward and forward fold. Inhale, hands on the shins. Far your flat back, and then root to rise. Come all the way back up. Palms touch and palms come to heart. All right, so I think you want to get into the hips a little more?
Sure.
All right, so what we're going to do first is we're going to make it a little, we're going to ease into the hips. Okay, so what we're going to do is bring our hands over to our hips, and now we're going to begin to circle the hips around. And then take it around the world the opposite direction. And notice what you feel. I mean, I feel things on the outsides of the hips, on the iliac crest.
Well, we were doing a lot of like warrior stuff with the weights. So it was a lot in our side yesterday. So this actually feels really good. Good.
And this just feels good all around. And then just gently tilting the hips side to side. Little salsa hip movement. Inhale, arms come up. Let's reach up, reach back. Exhale, now swan dive down. Hands come down. Bring both feet back. Let's do a little chaturanga here. So we're going to tuck the elbows, come down. So again, you can support this by bringing your knees down. Come to your up dog. Back to your down dog. Inhale, right leg rises, reach up. And then bring it all the way through. Bracket that right foot. And then that left knee plants. Left foot is flat. And then heel toe as you bring that right hand and your right foot to the outer edge of the mat. And here is where we're going to get into our lizard. So you can extend that left leg back depending on how you want to feel your hip. So perfectly fine to stay right here and just let the hip rest. Or as you ease in, you can begin to descend the hips lower. So I'm just going to show here that as you begin to come down, you can use a block to rest on. So you can use the different heights. So it all depends on what you want to feel or how you want to access your body. And then you can tilt that right foot out. So notice as I tilt my foot out, what I'm sensing is the outer quad and glute. As I come down, you get into it a little bit more. And the stretch changes with the position of the foot. So just take some nice deep breaths here. And then we can begin to lift up, shift the hips back to heel, toe that front foot back to center. And then from here, gently place your hands on your thigh and come up. And then gently sink the hips down. I don't like using the word sink, but kind of let the hips reach down towards the earth or the mat. And then from here, plant the palms again, curl the toes under that back foot. Bring that back foot to meet the front. Forward fold. Inhale, hands on the shins. Come to your half lift, and let's root to rise. Come all the way back up. Palms touch. Palms come to heart. Palms together. Inhale, let them rise and reach back. Exhale, palms together. Bring them all the way down for your forward fold. Inhale, hands on the shins. Coming to your flat back, and then exhale, plant the palms. Bring both feet back. Coming to your plank. Tuck the elbows in. Lower down the chest. Sweep up for your up dog. And then come back to your down dog. Nice deep breath here. You can sigh it out. That feels good on the exhale. Remembering that that is just releasing what no longer serves with every exhale. Energetically taking your breath in to bring in positive energy and love, joy, releasing any self-doubt, fear on your exhale, because that just does not serve us. All right, next breath. Inhale that left leg up. Exhale, bring it all the way through. Are you okay?
I'm fine.
Bring it all the way through. Bracket the foot. Bring that right knee down. Foot flat. And then let's shift the hips back. And shift the hips forward. Bring that left hand in. Let's just open up on the right side. And then gently lower down. Heel toe that left foot out. And begin the descend of our lizard. So we can walk our hands a little bit forward. We can extend that right leg back. And begin to ease into that hip. And don't hold your breath. Take those breaths nice and smoothly. And then gently begin to lift yourself up. Heel toe that foot back into center. Bracket that foot. Curl the toes under that back foot. And then gently bring that back foot to meet the front. Come to your forward fold. Inhale, hands on the shins. Come to your flat back. And let's root to rise. Come all the way back up. Palms touch. Palms come to heart. How do you feel? Good. All right. Inhale, arms rise again. Exhale, lower down. Swan dive down. Or keep the palms together. Up to you. Inhale, hands on the shins. Exhale, take both feet back. Shift to a down dog. And then let's bring the knees down. Feet flat, bring the hips back, walk your hands to your knees. And let's take a hero pose to stretch the bottoms of our feet out. So in hero pose, just as we're sitting, we're just going to curl the toes under. Let's bring our hands to the heart center. You may feel uncomfortable. Let's inhale, reach up and back. Breathe here. Hands come back to heart. Release the hands, right arm up and over. And exhale, lower down. Keeping the distraction while your toes are curled in. Left arm over. And then lower down and then release the toes. All right. So we're going to shift the hips to the side and bring our legs forward. And then let's massage our backs.
All right.
So we're going to bend the knees and take our hands to our knees. And we're going to begin to rock back and forth, up and down. So this is also working your core. And then let's, like on our backs, take the knees in, get the knees up. Relax the head, bring it to the mat, relax the shoulders, bring the shoulders towards the mat, tuck the chin. And then full body stretch, extend the legs, extend the arms, fully reach. And then gently lower the arms down, bend the knees, take the feet to the width of the mat, knees fall inward, and then gently shifting one leg after the other, one hip turning in one hip, then the other. Arms can come over the head if it feels good to take elbow to elbow, you can do that. Or you can have your arms in the T. And then knees come back to center, heels to the feet back. Let's take a happy baby. Reach for the outsides of your feet or peace finger your toes. And let the hips open. And you can begin to rock side to side. You can extend the legs and pull the toes towards you or your feet towards you. And then gently bring the legs back together. Extend them up in the air. Calming the nervous system. And then let's take a shoulder stand. From here, we're going to gently bend the knees and lift the hips up to cradle our hips into our hands. And then we're going to extend the legs up so we can tuck the elbows a little bit. Lift the hips up. So if this is uncomfortable, you can do this on your back. And you can stay there. I'm going to just show them how they can support this shoulder stand by placing a block just underneath the hips so you don't have to lift all the way high, but if you want to lift a little higher, you can remove the block and lift a little higher. Otherwise, you can just rest on the block and then gently bring yourself all the way down, releasing the hands, and then bringing the legs all the way down. All right, let's extend that left leg out, bring the right knee in, flex both feet. And then let's bring that right knee, let it travel towards the right shoulder. Bend the left leg. And then let's cradle the right leg and bring it into a number 4 shape. So that right ankle comes to the left thigh, top of the left thigh. And we're going to thread the needle here. Bring the hands underneath the left thigh. And then gently begin to bring that thigh towards you. Flex both feet. It's going to feel really, really tight. Just ease with the breath. Tuck the chin. Keep the shoulders away from the ears so they're not rolling forward. So notice that the sensations begin to ease with the breath. It might be even pull your leg a little closer. So all the sensation is right in here. From here, release. Bring both knees in. Extend the right leg out. Flex both feet. Take a squeeze of that left knee in. And then let that knee travel towards the left shoulder. bend the right knee, bring the foot flat, and then cradle that left leg, bring that left ankle to the right leg. From here, thread the hands underneath the right thigh, and then flex both feet, gently beginning to pull the thigh towards you, slowly and gently, compassionately. Tuck the chin. Breathing through the sensations. Last breath. And release. Bring that right leg down. Release the left. Extend both legs. Notice the length that you feel and inhale both arms up over the head. Full body stretch. All right, so from here, let's bring both knees up and we're going to take a bridge pose. So bring the heels to gently walk the heels towards your bottom, your buttocks, and your hands are flat. On the inhale, let's lift the hips up. Let the chest travel towards the chin. Press the shins forward, lift the hips up. Maybe take a bind underneath your back. So if you're taking the bind, it helps to tuck the shoulders underneath the body to open up the chest. Again, pressing the hips up. And then release the bind and float the hips all the way down. Take a rest here. And then we'll do second set. Inhale, lift the hips up. Let the chest travel towards the chin. Take the bind if that feels good to you. And then gently lower down. Gently bring the knees to the chest. And then let's circle the knees around. Nice breathing, Sandy. You know, when you do this breathing all the time, and then let's go the opposite direction, you begin to breathe. This is how you begin to breathe. I notice that when I walk into classes, rush into a class, well, not really rushing into a class, but you're coming in from the outside, the energy's a little different, and then you just start to breathe a little differently. Bring the knees back in the chest. Now let's do another full body stretch. From here, let's do our banana stretch. Let's walk our arms, reach our arms over to the right side, and then walk our legs, our feet to the right side. So you can grab that left hand and gently tug on the left arm. We'll bring it over a little bit more. I don't know why I feel like I can just stay here. And then walk the feet back to center. Walk your arms, move your arms back to center. Begin to walk the feet to the left side. Arms reach over to the left. And take that left hand to the right. Wrist and gently guide that arm over to the right a little more. And then gently walk yourself back to center. And then let's begin to lower our arms down. Take a few deep breaths. And let your body settle into the mat. Tuck the shoulders underneath the body to open up the chest. And begin to feel the sensations of the body, taking in all of the energy that you have put into this past hour, into your body, and let it integrate in. By completely relaxing the body, you create a state where the body accesses its innate wisdom to absorb the healing that takes place when you allow it to go into the state of relaxation. Let your toes fall open. Come back to the natural rhythm of your breath and notice how much calmer your mind is. Let the hips feel heavy. Arms feel heavy. As you inhale, feel your chest rise. Belly fills, and as you exhale, let the belly fall, chest follows. Relaxing the jaw, relieving it of any tension. Softening the cheeks and the brows. Allowing your eyes to sink or fall into their sockets. Enjoy your Shavasana. So Sandy and all the folks back home continue to stay in your Shavasana as I'm going to take myself out. So going back to the thoughts, the reflection, Kevin Courtney's reflection, and acknowledging how you feel right now and how whole you feel. We didn't seek anything outside of our bodies. Everything came from the inside out. And notice how peaceful that feels. Sometimes emotions can arise from these practices, and that's okay. Allow yourself to feel and sit through these emotions as opposed to shoving them aside or pushing them down. Allow them to rise, to release, to make more space for your joy and your heart's desires. Let's begin to wiggle the toes and the fingers, bringing gentle movement back into the body. And then roll over to your right side, letting your head rest in the crook of your arm. And when you're ready, pressing yourself up with your left hand, supporting yourself with the right as you come back to seated. And join me with your hands in Anjali Mudra at the heart center. Remember what you feel here. Please join me in bringing your prayer hands
up to your third eye as a reminder to think kind thoughts. Down in front of our lips as a reminder to speak kind words. And back down in front of our hearts as a reminder to keep our vibrations high from the heart. From my heart to yours, I take a bow to you. Thank you all for joining me today and allowing me to give you some self